So, hello everyone. This is Stephanie with Wellness Wednesdays with Stephanie, and I am a holistic lifestyle coach. And actually, something I have not mentioned, or maybe I have mentioned it, I am also a Reiki practitioner, and I've actually been practicing Reiki now for almost 7 years. I absolutely love the practice, and it is something that very, very early on when I was a child, even into my early adulthood, I was just experimenting with Reiki and I didn't know what it was. I was experimenting with energy. I was moving energy. And I just felt like this is energy from the universe. I'm just going to share it with people and we'll see what happens. And ended up helping people heal before I was even a practitioner. So it was really, I was introduced to it, right, from a very early age. But it wasn't until I was in my 30s, I actually went to a holistic movement class when I was at Ventura College. It was a holistic program. I learned all about holistic health, which was wonderful. And yet, very little introduction to energy healing until all of a sudden I was having this really nasty pain in my back and in my neck. And this girl came up to me. She said, "Do you mind if I give you some Reiki?" And I'm like, sure, go for it. I mean, I'd heard of it, but I'd never really experienced it at that point. And just the energy and the way that it felt in my body, it just totally blew me away. I had never felt anything like it. Just, it released my pain. And it was like this relaxing, oh, I feel so much better. Thank you. That was amazing. And so after that, I had to seek out the Reiki training. I had to find it. And I just happened to find Kelly Schwagel. She taught 3 of my Reiki classes. So I'm now a Reiki 3 practitioner, not yet a master, but maybe my friend Joe here can get me to that point. So I was talking with Joe about doing an Energy 101 conversation because we don't have a whole lot of knowledge about Reiki in the Western society. There's pockets of it, and absolutely it's showing up in hospitals, it's showing up in places where, nurses are getting trained to do Reiki on their patients. It's wonderful, but it's showing up in places. But I feel like we need to educate the people a little more. Don't you agree, Joe?
I agree. And Reiki is amazing. It's like, to me, one of the world's best kept secrets. And yeah, I think you kind of hit on that just in how you described how you were introduced to it. And that's how it felt for me. And we need to share this awesome with everybody because it is. And we all are. So yeah. I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Wellness, what a great way to start Wellness Wednesday, talking about us. Energy
yeah.
It's really cool. And this is great. I'll get out of the way. Sorry.
Okay. So tell me about your traditional schooling, because obviously, we all get introduced to Reiki in different times in our lives, right? So you went to college, right? You had one of those natural, okay, I'm going to go to college and get a degree kind of things, right?
Yeah. Average everyday Joe, right? I am that. I went to, traditional schooling. Went to college, got an undergrad degree from Arizona State, went into the corporate world, and that's the next step on the journey. And
right.
And have kids, got the mortgage, doing all these things, and almost 20 years into my corporate world, I had a spiritual awakening, and that brought me this energy, which I had no understanding of at the time, although I knew it was amazing. It was awesome. I didn't understand what it was, but I knew, as great as it is, and Reiki is amazing, I have to be able to turn it off, because I would go to work and float around and people would be like, "Man, are you high or what?" I'd be like, "I'm just excited about everything." And so I was literally floating around for a couple months, Googling awakening energy, mountains. And I came across Reiki because I had no explanation for it, this amazing feeling that I had. And so a coworker overheard me say the word Reiki in my cubicle, like Reiki. And she said, my friend is a Reiki master. And she happened to be a manager right there at the office complex we were working at.
No kidding.
Like, whoa.
A coworker.
Yeah, I'm like, it's great. It's like normal people do this stuff. Cool. Like, all right. So within minutes, we were meeting in a lobby talking about Reiki. We're all like looking at our hands, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you have Reiki," and I'm talking about it. I feel it, which is fun. Kicks on, but I was like, "Wow!" I was elated. This is something. I'm not losing my mind, so to speak. And from at that point, like, I would connect in with my coworkers on we'd be in these conversations like where I was almost like observing. I was like a witness to these conversations, just channeling in this information and these words and these thoughts and connecting and talking about deceased loved ones and touching on spirit and stuff that you just don't do at the water cooler. It was really weirdly awesome, you know? So I'm like, this is great. And I could feel like the thirst for it there in the corporate world. I could feel the thirst for it at home as a parent, as a spouse. Like, why are we just discovering this awesome Reiki stuff? They didn't teach this at ASU, right?
Right.
Traditional schooling. I never even heard of it. I hadn't really heard much of a spiritual awakening at that point either. So anyways, I signed up for Reiki classes. I think it was a Reiki 1 and 2, a Saturday, Sunday, one weekend. And it was a Reiki 3, 2 weeks later / master, or maybe it was 3 weeks later, 2 to 3 weeks after the first 2 levels. And before you know it, I'm a Reiki master. I'm like, wait, what? But,
Bam.
yeah, well, here in our Western culture, it's important to have titles, schooling, certificates, education, however you want to phrase that or put that. We like to see things. And as we know with Reiki, we don't always see things. It's a feeling thing. So loving the energy, feeling this energy, being elated with this energy and seeing where it could benefit so many people, I thought, I'm going to start a Reiki practice. And I pretty abruptly left my job, very short notice, as it just opened my eyes to the world. I worked in the insurance industry, primarily as a fraud investigator, most of those 18 and a half years.
Wow.
So I'd seen all sides of it, so to speak. And, but my values weren't aligning with the organization. I felt like it never felt right to begin with. I did it to get paid, for salary, for a career, for benefits, for the pension, for all those things. But I wasn't doing I was doing it for myself. I didn't realize what it was all about and understanding it. So I left my job and started a practice about 3 years ago, just out of the blue. Very hard, very challenging. I was very excited, sharing this art with as many people as I could and who would listen or who was open to it. And then the opportunity came to become a teacher, Reiki master teacher. I had to get attuned to that level as well. Marsha Craven, by the way, was my first 3 levels master teacher. She's amazing. She's out in Glendale. I think she's since retired, but she's an amazing energy practitioner. I love her. She's just a beautiful person. And anyway, so she had retired. I went to Ann Cabano shortly after I got attuned by her. She retired, and I went to Ann Cabano in Tempe. I don't know if you've heard of her. She did the teacher training, and I shared that class with one other person, and that was the manager that introduced me to Reiki on that one day. It was kind of cool. We kind of came back together and did this training so we could both go on and do our own thing. She also left the company not long after I had too. So then, not long after that, this is over 3 years ago. I've only been practicing for about 3 years, and we took off. Then the opportunity came to do a certified medical Reiki course with Raven Keys, and I don't know if you've heard of her.
I've heard that name, yeah.
Yeah, so she's a bigger name, a little more notable, I guess you could say, in the healing industry, Reiki game. She had a connection to Dr. Oz. I believe she was his wife's Reiki master. So through Dr. Oz and another doctor in Chicago, his name is slipping me. He's a prominent breast cancer surgeon. Feldman, I believe is his name. They came together and put together the Certified Medical Reiki training program so that Reiki can be administered in medical facilities, including operation rooms and settings and so forth. So I thought that was just, oh, heck yes, we're going. I'm going to be there. My mom was a nurse. We're going to take this stuff into the hospitals and connecting with people and really help them get the holistic experience of getting well. That has really not taken off as we had hoped. I have done some Reiki in the hospitals, albeit limited to people that I've known. But it's just amazing. And I'm getting ahead of myself. But that's kind of my traditional schooling and my Reiki schooling, aside from the practice and the experience, the awesomeness of all that. Part of it does include distant work, which is different but fun, right? Energy knows no time or distance, and a connection is. For instance, you're at home and you think of mom over in California or something, and then the phone rings or something. That phone aside, that connection was there. You know what I'm saying? We're all connected. And just because we're not in the physical space as another person doesn't mean that connection can't exist. Or if that person is no longer living in the physical body and has gone to a different realm, the connection is still there. That energetic connection always is. It is. And we can use that channel to send love and receive. It's really cool. But anyways, I'll get out of the way.
So you've been practicing for 3 years. What type of clients do you usually work with nowadays?
Oh, man. Nowadays, it seems that the professional, probably in their 30 to 40s, seems to be the common age, status, whatever you want to call it. I've worked with children. I've worked with seniors. I've worked with people who have been very sick, people who have been very healthy, or people who just do it for maintenance purposes. That's the beauty of Reiki. It's for everybody. And we all have different energy and patterns and dealings in our own lives. And we need one another. And Reiki is a great tool to assist one another. I don't do the healing. As you know, we heal ourselves. You may receive Reiki, you may channel Reiki, you may experience the Reiki, but understand that you heal you. And that's the beauty of it. It's really empowering for the recipient.
Definitely. Something that I've always made a point noticing and sharing with my clients is that when I give Reiki, I also receive the Reiki. And so I get a little benefit of that healing energy when I'm sharing it with someone else. Just a little extra something for me, which is so nice.
It is. It's so blissful. Like, yeah, you get done and I got just the goosebumps talking about it.
Yeah.
The truth bombs are real. The energy's real.
Oh, yeah.
And you're channeling in this beautiful energy, which is love. Reiki is love and light and all the brights. It's so great. And we get to bask in that as the middleman, so to speak, or the conduit, the channel. It's so cool. It's a win-win.
It is. It so is. So let's break it down for the people, right? This is an Energy 101 class. So what is Reiki? What actually is it? You just said
right?
love. It's light. It's universal energy. It's
Right.
the chi, the prana, right? It's the energy that we all have access to. What's your take on it?
Absolutely. So Reiki is a Japanese term. Rei meaning universal life. Ki, as you mentioned, like chi is energy. And Reiki, or healing energy, or energy healing, has been around for thousands of years. This isn't like new. Reiki, the Sui Reiki, which I practice, was developed in 1922, I believe, or the early 20s by Dr. Mikao Sui, who went on a quest to find out how Jesus used his hands for healing. And he came across all sorts of teachings and learnings on his journey. And ultimately, he was fasting up on a mountain in, I think it was Japan. And on the 21st day of his fasting, saw symbols. So Reiki is this art put together to basically carry on this awesome form of healing that's kind of got either pushed off to the side or isn't as prevalent in our culture, at least as we know it, as we understand it. For instance, a child falls down and hits their knee on the ground. The first thing to do is to run over there and touch or put your hands upon that wound or injury or whatever you want to call it. So we do it, and we naturally do. When somebody needs a hug, we innately know that, or needs that positive energy, we know to give. And we're not expecting anything in return. It's just pure love, and it's amazingly powerful, and it moves blockages which exist in our auric field, because we are all energy. We are energy, different levels of energy. And we talked about chakras a little bit. Chakras are little vortexes of energy, and that makes up who we are. This isn't like we just made this stuff up. This is thousands of years. These are documented, the chakra systems and how awesome we are. So knowing what we are and the energy, and with intention, which Reiki is a huge on, is bringing in that positive life force energy and giving it to these bodies and allowing the expression of what is to be. It truly is kind of how it goes. It's gentle, it's powerful. It's a different experience every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Reiki can be simple as a discussion with one another in person, like we're doing. We talk about the distant work. Sometimes a distant session is just the talk, the voicing, picking up of the frequency through your voices, through our voices, through some people can see auras, colors. It's amazing. It's just truly, truly amazing. And it's creating that space for somebody to open up, to receive, and amazing things happen. It's all love. It's super powerful, positive, all of the above. Cool.
So my next question, how does Reiki work? I was thinking back to my training with Kelly, and her training, she talked about how Reiki moves through the fascia system. And we have fascia everywhere. It's basically under the skin, on top of the muscles, and it covers the entire body. It's a connective tissue. And so the energy has been shown. It moves through the fascia. There is now tons of scientific support for Reiki and the energy practice and what it does in the body and how it moves. And so I love to see ways that we move the Reiki, how it works within us and within our clients. And so I'd love to hear a little bit more about your experiences. What has Reiki done for your people, the people you've worked with?
Oh man, I mean, everybody's different, right? Some
right?
people may have a physical pain or something in their back. The first full session I ever did was on my mom, my mom, and which was awesome because she's amazing, and she's been a nurse, or was for 40 plus years, a registered nurse, a natural born healer. But she experienced numbness in one of her feet, in her right foot. for a period, I think 15, 20 years, she had some numbness due to a pinched nerve or a disc sciatica issue. After our first session, she regained feeling in that foot, and it stayed. She could feel her foot again, and it was like, holy cow! After years of it being numb and having, you know, this symptomology that she did,
Wow.
that to me was like, that's amazing. Like, holy crap, that is so cool. My dad, who has since passed, he he had a myriad of issues, health-related issues, and he had built up a fluid in his lower extremities. So I sat with him. Yep, I sat with him. I wasn't able to give him a traditional session where, for people who don't know, sometimes we use a massage table to administer Reiki treatments. Fully clothed, different hand positions on or off, doesn't matter, whichever your client's comfortable with. But I simply sat next to my dad, and I cried because I could feel a lot of stagnant energy in his heart chakra. Yeah. But anyways, after the session, he peed for like 4 days because he had all this fluid build up. But got him moving to where his body was able to eliminate it. Yeah. And he kind of cursed me like, you know, but he was grateful for it because it helped his body move that fluid. I mean, those are my parents I'm getting all excited about, but you know, those are just some simple stories. I have children, my kids, who I don't practice enough with, but kids are awesome with Reiki. It chills them out. It balances them out, calms them down. And for me, as a father of 3 daughters, to be able to connect with my girls in a positive, loving way is, how cool is Reiki, right? Every parent can Reiki their kids, you know? And it's helped me in times where, you know, I have to, it's not about me, you know, I have to not take things personal. And, you know, when you have kids or even adults, you really have to listen because it's not what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? You know,
yeah.
Then I say, you know, but you know what I'm feeling?
Yeah.
There's always something a little deeper. And part of that wanting to fix everything, and I think our Western culture wants to fix things. You know, I kind of let the Reiki do the stuff. We kind of give it the love that it needs versus trying to make everything okay in that moment for your kid because it's hard, or your friend or that person who's ailing. Other examples, just people that like to come in for a little tune-up to lighten their load, because we're electronic. The load it gets heavy. People come in, you run through the chakras, Reiki them out. 40 to 50 minutes is kind of the average treatment time for one of my sessions. Mm-hmm. They get up, they feel lighter. They just like, wow, I feel so light. I feel good. And or they'll have something will click or something will come to them during the session, or something will come to me and we'll bring it up and talk about it. The Reiki brings stuff forward, whatever that is for that person. And it's a safe place. I feel I provide that place for that to be expressed and really loved up and looked at from the different perspectives, because a lot of times we see like this. Mm-hmm. And that's why we're hitting these blocks. But when we're able to give it love and light, spin it around, shine it bright, it's not so bad, is it? It's awesome. And that's what it is. Just like you. Anyways, keep going. I go crazy, but it just goes. It's
I love
so cool.
it. Yeah. When I practice, I receive information all the time. I've always been intuitive, and so when I started practicing, the first thing I noticed was that not only am I channeling this beautiful Reiki energy, but I'm picking up information from their energy field and from their physical body, and I can feel things, history in their physical body, and past injuries and past pains and relationship stuff, and it just it became more of an intuitive Reiki session. So I can't just do Reiki. I do intuitive Reiki sessions because it just comes. It's just part of practice for me. So let's talk about benefits. But before we get to that, I'm kind of feeling like let's talk a little bit about self-healing. You know, Reiki for me has been a real awakening journey, and it woke up a lot of blocked energy in my own body when I first had my first training session. My teacher Kelly had me go through 21-day chakra cleanse, and at the time I had no idea. I knew about chakras, but I had no idea what a 21-day chakra cleanse would look like. She didn't give a whole lot of guidance on how to do it. Just do Reiki for 21 days. Wow, okay. So I actually did some research on the chakras and Reiki and energy and moving and how to structure a 21-day program, because I'm such an intellectual in the way that I see things. I don't think, okay, I need to figure this out, right? What came of that, though, is I put together a card set of 21-day chakra cleanse for Reiki practitioners. And so that's something that's in development at the moment, but yes, right? So cool.
I love
it. So what about your self-healing journey, Joe? You've had some challenges, right?
Yeah, you know, it's right out the gate. You know, I think with my job and, you know, that I'm married, you know, I have family, and it was so strong. And wow, yeah, so that was my first initial challenge, probably, was, you know, my career choice and what am I going to do to honor this life truly, and share with others what I truly believe in. So yeah, it's been crazy. You know, when you have, I don't know, the spiritual awakenings are very scary, and albeit beautiful. This is probably the most scariest, beautiful thing I've ever been through. And I say scary because those around you don't understand. You're still the same person, albeit a better form. But you feel like you're losing your mind sometimes, because so many things are aligning within yourself, and you're starting to see things that you've been blind to for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It can be choice. A lot of it it just hasn't worked for you in whatever fashion. So, you know, part of that is realizing who the heck you are and standing in that power, expressing who you are, and being accepted by those in your circle, your family, your friends. And you may lose some friends, you may lose some relationships, but believe and surrender and trust that those are clearing the way for what is to be. And that's still a very hard, difficult thing to grasp in our culture and with our conditioning, right?
Right.
Our conditioning and our patterning and what we have been taught has been as much of a detriment, I believe, if not more, than what it was designed to do. And but anyways, so throughout my healing, right out the gate, I wanted to work with cancer patients. I was like, I had heard about Reiki in cancer patients, and I was, wow, I really want to do that, like help those people as an option. I heard chemotherapy was awful. I heard cancer treatment was just everything about cancer. It's like,
Yeah.
So I went to a Virginia Piper Cancer Center. I believe it was in North Valley, Scottsdale area. And I signed up, but they wanted me to do a shot, a tetanus shot. At the point, I was like, I am not sticking a needle in my arm just to do this, whatever. Like, I didn't understand, like, why do I need to get a shot to do that? But I kind of get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't. It just rubbed me in a weird. I didn't want to do it. Anyways, fast forward a year and a half after that or so, I get diagnosed with cancer. And then I'm in this Western treatment facility and getting chemotherapy and getting all these tests, and holy cow. But here I have Reiki. And I've been receiving Reiki treatments along with the chemotherapy, the radiation. And I got goosebumps because I experienced it from the other side as a recipient, patient, cancer, whatever you want to call it. And I got goosebumps. I'm about to cry, but it's so good. It's amazing. Reiki is amazing. It helped me in so many ways. And continues to. I would self-Reiki every time that chemotherapy would go up. I'd send the bag Reiki, Reiki, be good, heal this body, protect this body, do what you're to do. Trust in you, trust in the energy. So experiencing it like both ways, like, wow, you got to keep this thing going. It's truly a place in Western medicine along with these treatments. So yeah, it continues to this day. My journey is still going. I have a scan next week. Hopefully that'll show that the cancer is done or it's gone, or it may not, and I'll have to continue on my healing journey, which will include Reiki and all this. So it's awesome. I love it. I keep thinking like I have more examples to show with it.
We'll get
there. But it's all about, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
So we're going to talk about the benefits of Reiki. We've touched on a lot of that. One thing that I've experienced is stress relief. It is tremendous stress relief doing my own Reiki practice on myself, but every single client I've worked with has mentioned, I'm so relaxed. I'm so much more relaxed than I was when I got here. It's a really great way to just take that energy away, that angsty, anxiety energy, right? So what else? You mentioned the connection to self, right?
Well, we're sponge bods.
We're sponge bods. Yes.
Really, we pick up stuff, and with what's going on in the world right now, especially a sensitive soul, super sensitive, sensitivity is a strength. But if you don't understand it, it could be a detriment, as we knew growing up. I was a sensitive kid in class. My sister told me I was like a little girl. I heard it all. So I shut that down at a young age. And it's not her fault. I was just sensitive. And I'm sensitive still. I just understand it better. Where are we going with that? So what we pick up energy unknowingly. It can be as simple as passing somebody in a hallway who didn't look at you or smile, or you could just sense was just wherever in their space. And you kind of got a little bit of it, and that's okay. It's part of this thing. And foods are another thing. We can eat meals, and we're taking on the energy of whatever we're putting in our body. It may not agree with us. I'm not judging it good, bad, or indifferent, but just know we are energy and what we consume and are around our environments. Very important. So the Reiki allows the auric fields, the energies, the non-serving energies, to basically almost be eliminated, or at least released from our bodies, because they have no business here. And love is the ultimate, right? Love is always the answer. Love, Reiki is love. So when we say let's Reiki that or give it Reiki, we're saying let's give it love. Let's give it the attention, which is positive. It's not, I'm so stressed out. I'm stressed out, and I'm going to take care of it and love it out of here. Like, I'm going to stress the stress out of me. Like, we're going to get it. Bam. We're going to take it down to, I say, crap town. You know what I'm saying? But that's where we're taking this energy, because it doesn't belong within these beautiful vessels of ours. It'll creep up, and you'll feel it. You'll feel stuff. We all have the ability to clear our space, clear our auras, clear our fields. It can be crystals, rocks, if you don't have Reiki. And, you know, there's other ways. Go out into nature, connecting with a mountain, a tree, waterfalls. We are awesome beings. And yes, we feel the pinch, but Reiki is an outlet. It's a valve to release. And it is so good. And I'm so excited. So the benefits truly are endless, and they're different for everybody. You know, it may be help somebody make sense of something that happened as a young child. It could make sense for them to make a decision on which way they want to go on their journey. It's so broad and open. It's beautiful.
Truly, truly. So I mentioned the chakras and the chakra cleanse. Let's give our listeners a little intro. So chakras are these spinning vortexes of energy. There has been now in 21st century science some connection to these energy blocks. They're basically nerve blocks within our system that connect directly to where the chakras are in the body, which is amazing. I love the fact that science is finally catching up with 5,000 years of practice. So how do you think the chakras can work with the Reiki? So you practice Reiki, like chakra cleanses, right?
Yeah, or balancing. And how it works for me is spirit works with me through colors. That's how spirit works with me, and has since I started my Reiki journey. So like if somebody comes in and they're wearing a yellow shirt, it's solar plexus day. I won't come in and say, oh, okay, I have to sit there and listen and feel what is the energy says. But see, that's how awesome people are. They don't even realize they're working with chakra through the color they're wearing and or the foods they're consuming. They don't even realize it. But that's great. They're doing it. That's how innate these energies are within ourselves. But we don't even realize, right? So anyways, chakras. So for me, during a session of hand placements, there's roughly 20 some through a session, maybe more, depends on the person. I will feel blockages as we go through the chakras. So usually it's head down to feet. So wherever I'm feeling the blockage, on what level, and also on the masculine or feminine side. So if I'm over your heart space and I'm feeling a block on the masculine side, I could afterwards say, hey, felt a little energy block on the masculine heart chakra. And you don't have to tell me what it is. I already know, but not totally, but I have an idea. And it doesn't matter that I know details. It doesn't, because that's irrelevant. But what does matter is that we locate, identify, and love that blockage, because it needs to go. Otherwise, it's going to manifest into more dis-ease, right? Now you're not going to be at ease. And we got heart problems in this country. Number one killer in a lot of arenas. We have a lot of back pain, and that's your root chakra. We've got a lot of fear in our culture, in our society. Insecurities down there, money's down there. See where all this goes. Yeah. And, neck pain, that's your throat chakra, right? Speaking your truth. How many offices have you been in and seen the person sitting there going like this? Speak their truth. Because, and it's good, they have a job, but you can only say certain things at work because you represent that company.
Right.
And sometimes those don't align with what you feel inside. And you may go home and not say a word to somebody because you're still stuck in that work. Mm-hmm. And or you may be with somebody and you may try to clear that block in ways of frustration and you don't understand it and it comes out on somebody. But it's not their fault. They're not deserving of that energy. We just don't know that we don't know a positive, loving way to handle it. it hurts. It's uncomfortable. Who wants it? Who wants it around me, you know? But, so just understanding like the basic chakras and where your ails are on your body, you can figure those out through a Reiki session with a practitioner who may be able to pick them up, or through a conversation like, you know, say you're talking about finances. Well, I know that root chakra is rocked a little bit, right? So we want to clear the blocks and create some more flow in there. And usually, in theory at least, you should create a clearing of a financial burden of some sort, or allow for more money to come into your space or whatever. Solar plexus, we talked a little about that one time we talked, is your power center where we worry at, you know, this is our worry center also. So if you're it's a tough word to say, worrying a lot, you need some yellow in your life, some lemons, some zest, some sun, vibrancy to push that negative, non-serving worry out of here. Shit town. I said it. And I apologize for my language, but you cuss sometimes. So
gotta let it out, right?
Yeah, and the chakras are great. They're a simple way to tune into yourself, listen to your body, but you have to make time for that. So usually meditation is a great time for that. Some people scan their body and feel whatever works for you. Everybody is different, truly. And knowing those little things about the chakras, that they're affected by foods, colors that you're visually seeing or surrounded by, could be colors of your walls, even your cars, your work environment. It's really cool. The world is in color. It's colorful. It's vibrant, and it's vibrant vibrations. Everything's a vibration. So we're no different. And we want to keep these things moving. These bodies are designed to move. And unfortunately, you know, school, work, a lot of our jobs have made us more sedentary because of these devices that we're connecting on, which is cool. We can connect. At the same time, we got to disconnect to connect. You see what I'm saying? You know that.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the basics, so that the people know this is not a free service, right? It's an energy exchange. So generally speaking, there is a cost for a Reiki session. What do you usually charge for your Reiki sessions?
Yeah, usually a Reiki session in general, I've seen are charged like $1 a minute. I've seen them anywhere from like $65 up to over $100, depending on who the practitioner is. I typically charge $65 a session.
Okay.
Typically they go 60 to 75 minutes is what it is. But I always allow time because it's yours, and we may need more time. We may need 90 minutes, and that's okay. The whole purpose is for you to leave with a better understanding of self, and you're going to feel a heck of a lot different. Distant, I usually charge a little less because I don't have to pay for my office space.
Right.
You know, it can vary, $45 or something for like 40 minutes or a half hour. It varies. Some people only want like a 20-minute blast or something.
Right.
Whatever. And that's great. But some, you know, I had somebody say, I want to come in for a 2-hour one. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to 2 hours? That did not happen yet, at least, but I have done 90-minute Reiki, which is a long time, but that's what the client wanted. And that's totally cool. So yeah, and ideally, I wouldn't want to charge for any of this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. I know that's how I feel too. I just want to give it away, but it is a service, right? We're serving the community.
There's an exchange of energy, and that's, you know, talk about money as being the root of evils and blah 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 blah. Oh, for sure, but we also have to understand the other side, and that's the life, right? There's two sides. There's life, hate to go there, death, but like, we need to understand both sides so we're not fearful and or we allow for it. And also we do attunements. If somebody wants to learn Reiki, I teach it as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so and that can be pretty pricey. I think I keep my pricing fair on it. I charge $111 per level.
Okay.
Keep it consistent. Because and I believe everybody's different, but I also know that everybody does Reiki different. I can teach you Reiki, teach you in a sense, but it's still yours, and it's still going to work through you, for you, how it is too. And I don't know that. I can attune you. I can give you a basic understanding of what Reiki is, how it can be a benefit to others. But from that point, the Reiki is the master teacher. I'm just Joe.
Yeah.
I don't like the titles. I don't even like the fact I have a name sometimes. They call me Joe, okay? I'm a person like you. I love you. And, this master teacher, I'm not a master of Reiki. The Reiki is the master and the teacher.
Right.
And that's
I'm just a sharing conduit. That's all I can be, right?
Yeah. And that's the way we all are for everything. We're all here to love and be conduits of love and energy, positivity for one another. Whether you want to call that Reiki or just being a good steward of this earth, it's being a decent human, I guess. We need more love.
We do. We truly do. So then how can the people reach you, Joe, if they want to learn Reiki from you?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, I just recently got rid of my social media accounts, which is something
Good for you.
Yeah, well, it was tough because that was a major, or at least what I felt to be a major connecting stream for either clients or people. Mm-hmm. But I felt this call within, like I need to shut it down. My phone broke 2 weeks ago, and I was debating on just shutting it off because here in quarantine, I'm at home with my kids doing homeschooling.
What do you need a phone for? Right.
I don't need it right now, and I found it being a little bit of an energetic drain for myself. Mm-hmm. And I have to figure that out before I keep throwing my energy into it. So the phone broke, the universe responded, it told me what to do. And then I felt I needed to delete my accounts and focus my energy back into wherever that is at the moment, which is being more present. So they can reach me at Roots Hug, it's old school, ROOTSHUG, it's old school as an email, at gmail.com, rootshug@gmail.com.
Great.
Or on my website, which is HYRvibrations.com, so highervibrations.com. The higher is short for Hug Your Roots. That's originally the name of my big business. Because, and the hug, you can tell them from the corporate world, the acronyms. The hug stands for healing through understanding and gratitude. Oh. So the more you're able to understand yourself, your situation, others, the more grateful you can be for it. And that, to me, facilitates healing. And those are the higher vibrations. Boom!
Love it.
It's a beautiful thing. And you said, real quick, somewhere is mentioned like an ideal client, and I don't know if there is an ideal client. I think any client's ideal, but you know what? They came to me, men, married men, divorced men, single men, but men could benefit greatly from the energy Reiki. I love having dudes on my table because it's awesome. And they have no idea. Like, what, the ones that haven't been there yet. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And
awesome.
Please. And if there's any questions anybody has, you can obviously hit up Stephanie or myself. Always available to answer questions on energy. And from what I understand it, and I may or may not be right, but it's fun to talk about. I love it. And awesome. I love you, Stephanie. Thank you so much. It was fun.
No, yes, this was great. I think that this has been a great introduction to Reiki, and I really do hope and give you blessings and love and gratitude for this interview and energy for your healing process. Thank you so much. This has been great.
Infinite love. Namaste.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
Okay.
I got goosebumps. So yeah,
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
keep in touch, Seth.